So I thought today that I would show you exactly what I'm riding in my videos. Now I have a number of bikes, but it turns out that when I bought this bike, I had no intentions of it becoming my favorite bike, my go-to bike, but I'm gonna tell you why and what this bike is. So what this bike is a Specialized Crux E5. It's 3 years old, and when I first went into the bike shop, I told Mark, the guy at Bill's Bike Shop, I said, I want a cyclocross bike, and I want the bike that I can beat the living crap out of. I'm gonna crash this bike. I'm not gonna clean this bike. I want, if this bike breaks or any components break, I want it to cost almost next to nothing to fix it. I want a bike that I could beat the crap out of. I could ride in the rain, in the dirt, in the sand, and just not worry. And so that's why I bought this bike. Now, I find personally, when I go out for a bike ride, this is the bike I want to ride, not my actual good bike. So let me tell you about this bike. First of all, it's an aluminum frame, okay, with carbon forks. So it's the least expensive model. Now when it came with all the components, I did change a number of things. The first thing I changed was I actually put on a carbon seat post simply for comfort, and then of course I took the, no one's ever happy with the saddle that it comes with, so I have a Physique Aliante saddle, the aluminum one, so it's a super heavy one. I did change the handlebars. It came with, I believe, 42 centimeter handlebars. I got 40s because that's just my size. The other thing I changed was I changed the cranks. So it came with I believe it came with a size 175 or 172 and a half, I believe. And that was just too long for me. So I got 165 cranks, I bought the pedals, and that's all I actually changed on it. As time went on, I actually found that I wanted a different set of hoops, so I actually ended up buying some different wheels, and I'll tell you about those. And that's really all I've changed on this bike. So when I first got this bike, it had these on them. These are the standard Axis Sport wheels that it came with, and I used them for about 2 years. And then actually, to be funny, I was trying to bunny hop a curb, and to make a long story short, I didn't nail it. So I hit the curb, and I actually cracked the wheel, and so I ended up using that as an excuse to tell my wife that I needed new wheels. So not recommended, but she doesn't know what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So what I did was I ended up getting these Roval's SLX 24s. And wow, what a difference. First of all, in weight, it was a huge difference in weight, and they were also tubeless. Previously, I was not using tubeless. So I got these tubeless ready rims, and I'm also using the, what is it, the Tracer Pro tubeless tires, and I actually like them. I'm using 33 millimeter right now. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little wider for the winter and see how that goes. The other thing that I changed when I got new wheels was I got new brake rotors as well as better brake pads than it came with the stock, and that really made a difference in terms of braking, so I really like that. But what I did was I kept my old wheels, and what I did was I put just tubes on them, and then I kept road tires on them. They are 28 millimeter tires. They're the Roubaix tires. So I just use them if I want to ride my bike to the beach or something like that, and I know I'm not going to be on dirt. I'll just swap out these wheels. I know they're heavier, but that way I save my knobby wheels for when I might be actually riding on the dirt. And again, it just adds a whole new flavor of fun when you know, okay, well, I might do dirt today, I might not, I'm gonna use these wheels, but if I'm gonna go to the beach, you know, all the salt water, I'm just gonna use my old wheels. And that's not something I have with my other bike. So now what I have on here is I have a 110 millimeter stem. It's another thing I changed. And I have the Wahoo Element bolt. as my bike computer. I really like that. It's small enough, but I wear bifocals, so you need big numbers in order to see what you're doing. The other thing is I have the Bontrager 100 lights. Now these right here, I have the other lights, which are the 200, but I actually like these better. And the weird reason why is they seem to last longer, and they have a little light that informs you of when the battery is starting to go low. And so sometimes it frustrates me because I'll actually have on my other bike the 200 ones, which are lighter than these, but you can never tell when they're gonna go off or when they're gonna stop. And so sometimes you'll use them for a bike ride, and then you'll think, okay, well, I won't have to recharge until after the second bike ride, and they go bad halfway through the bike ride. These, what I've noticed is that once the light goes off that says it's a low battery, then you actually end up, you've got like 3 hours left on that low battery mode, and I find that kind of interesting. So even though the 200s are the newer, improved, and lighter and more powerful, I actually like these better. I will usually go out and ride. I try my best to ride either 4 or 5, maybe sometimes if I'm lucky 6 times a week. And very often I find myself thinking, well, which bike should I take? What should I do today? And it's like my other bike is a great bike and I always want to keep it clean, and you know, it's only a road bike. But this bike, what I really love about the cyclocross bike, or a gravel bike for that matter, is just the fact that I could go out and just go. And if I decide to hit some dirt, I'll turn the corner, hit some dirt. If I decide to stay on the road, I'll stay on the road. It's almost like this super versatile bike that I just love riding. And it's funny because it weighs a ton compared to my other bike. So if I'm gonna climb, I always think to myself, oh, I should have my good bike, you know, if you're going up a lot of hills and stuff like that. But for the most part, even when I want to go up hills, I always think to myself, well, it's good training, you know? So I try to justify it that way. But overall, this has been literally my favorite bike. Every time I ride it, I've got a smile on my face. And so this is the bike I'm riding. If you have any questions regarding the bike, just let me know in the comment section down below.